My neighbor placed a piece of shit in front of my home's entryway. My wife and I are the newest homeowners on our street. We've been here just over 14 months. Like most PPL, we have an issue where PPL won't pick up after their dogs. One of my neighbors whom I share a fence with decided it was a good idea to, as he says, place the shit at my entryway. BC, he knew we'd see it from our camera. He assumed it was my dog. Mind you, we've been really friendly up until this point. I'd let him know when we were going out of town so he can keep an eye on our home while we were gone. We come back from our vacation after 2 weeks and all is good. For context, this was a couple of days after Thanksgiving. I was doing housework in and outside of the house, first baby on the way. This will be important, BC. It plays a huge factor on how I decide to move forward. So as I'm doing work, I get a ring notification from our front door. I look and it's him, and I saw him bend down but didn't see why, so I stepped out and didn't see anything. The last thing on my mind was to look for shit. My wife calls me and asks, "What did he just drop there?" I went out to double check, and I find a few turds of shit. I immediately get upset and go over to speak to him, but his car was gone, but I still knocked to make sure. I go back to doing work around my house, and when I saw his truck was in his driveway, I went over to speak to him. His wife answers the door and invites me inside, as cheerful as always. She's a sweet lady. I enter the home and I said, "Hey, I have a question for," while he was fidgeting with his grandson's racetrack toy. I asked him if there was a reason he threw shit on my front door, and without looking at me he goes, "I didn't throw it, I placed it," and started trying to speak over me. I got a bit heated. I apologized to his wife and told her I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm upset. She was in shock when I asked him that, and she was like, "OMG, why would you do that?" and continued to assure me I had every right to be upset. I said, "Well, your dog, service animal originally from NYC, and her one issue is she won't use the bathroom outside, not even pee. It's annoying, but she uses her training pads and I flush her shit and toss her pads into single grocery bags, then trash bag. I wish she would use it outside. I'd let her use it in the back. So we go back and forth and he's like, when you were gone, no shit, and now you're back and there's shit." I told him threats throughout the convo. My dog does to use the bathroom outside, nor does he ever see her. I invite him to come look at my trash and he didn't want to. I mention the lady across the street who lets her dog run her life, never on a leash, always barking, and on everyone's lawn, and never has bags in her hands. We live on a dead-end street. There's a walking trail there, and there are a few people who walk their dogs through. He's always talking to the lady across the street and playing with her dog. Then the other PPL who were constantly walking their dog as well. He didn't approach any of them the way he did me, and I'd be surprised if he even asked. My biggest issue, and what I kept reiterating to him, was the level of disrespect and how I would never do that. And everyone he said I placed it, I grew angrier. I kept asking, "Why would you know before doing that?" That's kind of funny but infuriating. His response, "I didn't know if you were home." How TF will you know if you don't knock? I told them I have a baby on the way, we are neighbors, and I don't want issues, nor am I someone who plays with shit. About a month or so prior, I found shit in my backyard near the fence we share. I thought it had to be some animal, but it was big enough that I was confused. Last thing I would do is assume he threw it there. Now I have no doubt, it doesn't make sense. I am someone who struggled with PTSD from my time in Iraq. I've come a long way and I know I handled it the best way I could, but it burns me inside. I told him I know that shit is going to disappear and I know I'm not picking it up. He went and picked it up. I know as a man, to have another man come to your home and expose your actions in front of your wife and have you go pick up shit is embarrassing and maybe a bit degrading. I don't want issues, but I also have no interest in socializing with him, sharing my family with him. Just infuriates me every time I think about it. The old me would have handled this differently, but I also have a father who is an older man, and I'd never put my hands on an older man unless I had to defend myself. This is also someone the other neighbors keep distant from. BC, he is extremely nosy. Someone is doing something on their home/garage. He's always coming up and giving his unsolicited advice. But I give everyone the opportunity to fuck yo before judging them. If you made it this far, thank you. I guess I needed to vent. Story 2. AITA for canceling on a guy and making plans with another person for the same day? Buckle up for a ride, guys, because I think I just relived the most Disney Channel-ass situation in the history of Disney Channel-ass situations. This situation was actually so bad that I needed to talk to 4 different people on how to approach this. Few quick things. Everyone in this story is in high school, and no real names are used. Sorry for spelling/grammar mistakes. I'll be giving you a rundown of this timeline style, so be prepared. Around a week before winter break, I was given the assignment by my band director to promote a music club, think jazz band, and get a few people interested so we could have enough people to participate in a competition, whatever. Being the ultra-helpful person I am, I tell some people in my bio class, and this guy, who we'll call Neil, is interested. I email him the info and we go our separate ways, right? W1. The next day he asks for some advice on how to read music and I give him some resources. He ends up wanting to try out for drums and hey, look at that, so do I. I offer my drumsticks because he didn't have any and he thanks me. Cut to 2 weeks of winter break where he sends me the occasional, "How's break going?" or "You seen any good movies?" And I respond. Very dryly, but I respond. When we come back from break, my bio teacher announces a test that's supposed to be taking place in the upcoming week, and Neil asks if I wanted to study with him. Now, for some clarification, he did not say it was a date, and I did not ask if it was a date. I legitimately thought we were just going to study, but the next day in math, my friend, let's call her Claire, comes up to me and asks, "Hey, do you know a Neil?" And I obviously go, "Oh, yeah, we were going to study at the library on Monday, why?" And she fucking tells me, "Ooh, yeah, he's telling people you guys are going on a date together." Excuse me, what? I obviously text him to cancel the study session because obviously he thinks we were going to be doing a little more than studying. Now, I didn't say anything mean, or at least try to. My exact words were, "Hey, sorry man, I can't make it to the study sesh Monday." And he responds with a thumbs up. Crisis averted. Expect no, the crisis is very much not averted, because here's where I may be the asshole. Monday comes, and I go to math class to find out I got a terrible grade on a test we'd taken before winter break, and I'm distraught. I'm literally crying on the way to band. While in band, we have a fire drill, lucky me, and I vent to a couple of my friends, and one of those friends just so happens to be a guy friend, we'll call him Lance. And he offers to tutor me. Fantastic, so we plan to meet up in the school's library after school. After school comes and we end up sitting at the tables outside the library because we couldn't bring any food into the library, so we settled down and started working. And that's when a certain factor slipped my mind, because holy shit, Neil is supposed to be here. It's like I summoned him because as soon as I thought that, he appeared in front of the library and just Now I need to mention that in no way are me and Lance romantic at all. He just so happens to be a guy. However, Neil does not know this and assumes that we in fact are. Oh shit. Now my friend's in the library at this time as well, and she has a direct viewpoint of Neil, and by her account he was devastated. Words cannot express how bad I felt. That is, until the next day, Claire comes up to me again and says that Neil's been saying how he lost the love of his life or some shit, and I couldn't help but laugh a bit because WTF, man, we're in high school. Anyways, this situation just gets messier and messier by the day, literally. This happened in the span of like a month. I literally cannot fathom what may happen in the next week. I have this DNA cloning club with this guy too, since we're both lab assistants, so I have to see him every Tuesday in that ASYLA. I literally cannot escape. PAR for this mess, also my tests tomorrow, so wish me luck. Story 3. Dealing with anxiety as a woman on her own. Hi, I don't know where else to write this, and I feel as though this may be the most appropriate place where I'll be understood. I am in my first year at college, started in October, and I moved in the capital of my country all on my own. I live alone. I am in a relationship, and I have been for more than a year, but it is currently long distance. I've always been anxious, since being a child, not diagnosed by a psychiatrist, but my therapist has acknowledged that I am quite the anxious person, more than the average, especially with health anxiety and social anxiety. One of the reasons I appreciated the big city more, because I come from a terribly small town where everybody knows everybody, is that nobody seems to notice you, because there's always a lot of people everywhere and everyone is busy. Yesterday I was going to my dorm after attending university for 3 hours. I take the subway and it takes me approximately 40 minutes to get to my dorm from my uni. I have to make a change at a stop, which is a passage between two lines of about 500 m with some stairs. Irrelevant. The point I want to get is that this passage is 99% of the time extremely crowded and busy. You have to move at pace with people so you can keep up and get to your line. Already a crowded place, mildly anxiety-inducing, but it was fine. I was rushing, as everybody is, with my headphones on as I have them always, and honestly probably with a mean face because I have a RBF at about halfway down to the line I have to get to. Someone taps me on my shoulder. I remove one headphone and it's this guy. I don't even remember how he looks like, honestly, because I was so startled. I just remember he was about my height, and he tells me, "Sorry, I just wanted to tell you that I think you're really cute." I think I had 2 seconds to process WTF he just said. I just mumbled, thanks. I put my headphone back on and I went fast about my way. Some may say it was a kind gesture. He didn't run after me or anything. I got lost in the crowds after that and didn't see him anywhere. However, as you can guess, this really startled me, and I have, on and off, great anxiety about this event since then. I think a big part of it is because I live in this big old city alone. I'm scared that what if someone follows me or finds out my name or I don't know, this type of irrational shit. I'd have anywhere to go or anyone to help me besides some uni colleagues. It's very anxiety-inducing, and I just wanted to ask some fellow women who most likely have experienced similar things how they cope with feeling of unsafety caused by such interactions. Before anyone tells me, I know that most likely he wa'n't ill-intended, but it still worries me. What if he sees me and wants to strike up to me again? What if he follows me, and not just him, but any male that may have power over me? It is quite difficult living all alone as a woman. Story 4. I came with my husband to USA. Hey mamas, so I am a mom to a 5 mo. I want to tell my story and take some advice from you, and if someone can help me out it would be great. I came with my husband to USA in April. We live with my brother-in-law and his wife. The plan for us is to apply for school and then find jobs. The problem started arising once my due date got nearer. Arise how? It all begins with my Bill's wife. She always complains to my Bill that I don't do shit in the house, clean, cook, and whatever, and that I am always putting my son as an excuse to not do anything, even they say the room is messy. But I do clean after myself when I am downstairs, and whenever they cook, which is mostly always, I make sure to clean even after them. Note: I am always in my room to cuddle with my baby and be there for him. He also has VSD and had a surgery when he was 15 days old, and he demands to eat every 1H, not like normal babies. Now, my BIL manages to manipulate my DIL, and my husband that I don't do shit, and it all on my head, and there is always comments back and forth. Yesterday I found some shocking backstabbing words from my husband with BIL, and my BIL says shit like, it's going to be a fail path even if she raised the baby on her own, and all of that shit was my husband was planning to send me over back to our country. With hope. And it all 'cause I posted something on social media of situations I faced from a woman, which is her angry, and 'cause her fam is on my SM, they were like, how can she stay in your house and say this about you? Note: this woman one time took a pic of my baby and sent it to a family member for my husband's side without me knowing, and when I confronted her she got offended and wanted me to apologize. Of course I never did, 'cause this is my right. Plus, she planned and hosted my baby shower, but before she does so, I know she would say that I don't help. Months before the baby shower, I was like, don't do the baby shower, I will not be able to help. She was like, don't worry about it. But guess what? She complained about it that day. I talked to my dad, and he made me understand few things, and he somehow blew off the fire from my husband's and I fight. But the point here, what can I do? I am not happy because of my husband's easily manipulated against me by his brother, and if not brother, his brother manipulates his dad and his dad talks to him. And the plan for us to be in an apartment on our own as soon as his student visa gets approved. I need help to either start building my life independently here as a single mom, or to help better this situation, that my husband takes my side. Also, when I found the way MU husband and BIL talking, my BIL is saying like I want a free ride, and my husband says that he is grateful they hosting us, but she is not, like, WTF? Story 5. My family feels like poison lately. I hope posts like this are okay. I just mostly want to get it out of my system, but if someone went through similar shit and wants to share their side or anything, I would appreciate it. So my family was always pretty nuts, but I was mostly unaffected by it. My mother complained about my father cared shit about anything. My grandmother and mother started a war with my mother, and my mother doesn't know why she did it to this day, yada yada. It's over. I have a younger brother who most of his life didn't want to get along with me, so when he entered his 20s and we started to get along, I was very happy. It didn't last that long, though. Last year we had some political argument where we didn't find a common ground, and when I sent him sources for what I said, he didn't acknowledge them, and after telling him it doesn't make sense to discuss further with him, he blocked me, which I only noticed a few days later. For context, he works out of the country for most of the time. And time and again he came home since that. He ganged up with my dad to just talk shit about me, partially even to me. Last year I bought a motorcycle because my brother and I wanted to drive together. It once fell over. My brother came home soon after, and because it blocked the street he helped me and later told me he regretted helping me to get it up again. I don't know what he told my dad, but for some reason I became everything that went wrong in both their lives. After my brother left, my dad calmed down again, but 2 weeks ago my dad suddenly started talking about handing over the house to my brother and I. I was a bit perplexed, but okay with it. When my brother came home, he changed his mind. The house now goes to only my brother and I'll get money. Whatever, fine with me. But now I have to pay €1,600 for someone who calculates how much worth the house is, because my brother said he would only pay me 30 cupids, which, to be fair, isn't near half of what the house should be worth. Whatever, my dad doesn't even want to help me with getting all the documents. He always demands my help, wants me to drive him around, get him stuff from the grocery store, etc. But whatever my brother told him just makes him hate me, and I feel so defeated. My mother is equally powerless to my dad because it's not her house, and he doesn't take her serious either, which I suspect is partly his mother's doing. I literally just wish to have a peaceful life. I had so many plans on what to do with our garden, but now I not only have to leave the house, my brother gets everything stuffed up his arse and they want to get rid of me for cheap. I am aware that my father telling my brother to even give me half of the house's worth is already worth something, but him not admitting how much worth it actually is, just so my brother doesn't have to pay me much, makes me so angry. My brother became such a greedy piece of shit over the last years. Last year, he still sent me a screenshot of how much money he has in stocks, and since then he made my dad hate me, and also I don't have contact with my grandma because whenever I visited her with my brother it went exactly the same. I don't even know what I did. My mere existence was enough to complain about me breathing too loud, closing a door not silent enough, shit like that. And it's not like the first time my brother and I argued. It happened a lot. He insulted me so many times and it was always me who came back, so we would talk again. After the incident in autumn, where my brother started talking trash about me on the open street, and my dad partially chiming in complaining I would never help him, which is such a big fucking lie, I happened once, and this one time is always held against me. I decided that I'm not going to apologize to my brother. It's not like I think saying something like, "It doesn't make sense to discuss with you," is something I should apologize about. Hell, I wouldn't fucking block him if he had said it to me. I'm so looking forward to leave this toxic hell house, and I'm so glad that at least my mother is going to give me some support in moving out, but I can just repeat again and again, I feel so defeated. About my brother making this household toxic to me. About my dad not taking me seriously. I feel I'm only a person to him, if I'm of use to him. But when I need his help, even just some common sense of him, he'll throw a tantrum, like when I told him I'm going to pay for the price calculation of the house. He literally went, "Oh, it's going to cost me so much," when I literally said him going to pay for it, and he just needs to help me get some documents that I can't get because I'm not the owner. I'm sorry this post is unstructured. Reddit on mobile isn't really helping me to edit it properly. TLD. My brother is manipulating my dad into hating me, especially in the situation now that my dad wants to inherit the house to us. My dad doesn't take me serious at all anymore, and I just feel hated.